Welcome back.
Welcome. I'm Christine Landell, and this is Jennifer Ream. Well, we're sisters and business partners, best friends, if you haven't met us yet, passionate advocates for your well-being and holistic wellness. So something that we've been working in this area of life for the past 20 years, and I would say have come full circle since we were in our 20s. So it's really fun. We love this platform on YouTube now that we can reach so many people. We feel like we have a lot to say and we need to share it. So we're excited.
Whether you want to listen or not.
We're grateful that you are here, and we're grateful that that you do choose to listen to us today. So so feel free to comment below and we will interact with you that way, and we're happy to do different shows that with your topics in mind, and you're not going to get rid of us for a while, so keep it coming.
And if you've watched any of our previous ones, you know we tend to say, oh, we need to talk about that. Oh, we need to talk about that. Or if you talk to us in general. So anyway, we wanted to actually get on today because there's a lot of conversation and a lot of momentum. We are in Michigan, and today the Food Babe, if you are in our world at all of bringing awareness to the food system in general, you know the Food Babe. And you've been following her probably already. But if not, and kind of who we want to talk about today is the attention that this is getting. This has been in our awareness now for well over a decade, probably about 2 decades, since Christine's son was diagnosed with severe food allergies as a baby, and he's now 20.
She's a passionate advocate. It has been a long time. She used to call it, I don't know if she still refers to it, but her Food Babe Army. But she really just started, just like us, reading labels and find why are these things in our ingredients? And so
why are kids getting sick from food?
And she's taken on Kraft, and she's taken on Subway. And so this taking on Kellogg it's not a new thing for her. This is what she does. She's a very, very passionate advocate, and she has some amazing people behind her, backing her, and people that we love. So I'm really excited for her and what's to come. And we especially, the red food coloring, we've been screaming from the rooftops since our kids were little, keep that stuff away and keep it out. And the data is there and the research is there. And then unfortunately, our generation, our kids' generation, probably even our parents' generation, all have been guinea pigs for a shit ton of toxic chemicals that they have integrated into our food system. So the ultra processed food system, which really dates back to the Industrial Revolution, when we just inundated society with chemicals without testing them for human consumption or even on our body or around our body. And that's now where we're seeing it is definitely a contributor. They know that red food dye is a carcinogen. They know it causes hyperactivity, yet we still give it to our kids in the classroom and then tell them to sit down and then give them medication because they can't focus. So it's amazing that so many people are connecting the dots. And I was just saying to Jen, and we need to talk about this because there's a lot of people who have awareness around this that didn't prior. And so this is a great opportunity to really just plant some seeds and continue. We really want you to continue down this path of learning. And if you have already been down this path, continue to be an advocate for it, vote with your dollars. But it is so important to know that the red food dye is just like the tip of the iceberg. There's so much that I almost feel like by them taking this out, if they ended up doing that.
Well, I think we should mention that because I don't think we actually explained fully, if you're just tuning into that, is that she is in Michigan today in Battle Creek at Kellogg's.
Yeah.
Because she has collected over 400,000 signatures for a petition to remove the chemicals that are in the American cereal that Kellogg's has here. They're not in Kellogg's cereals in Canada. They're not in Kellogg's cereals in Europe and other countries. They're only in the United States where they get away with making the cereal cheaper by adding in these harmful chemicals. So today she's been trying to, they said they would remove it years ago and they have not. And so today she is in Battle Creek. She's speaking. There's a bunch of speakers, and I hope that you'll go back and listen to some of those conversations. I was watching it live. with Dr. Josh Axe, and he is a great person to follow with a lot of wonderful information and knowledge. But he was sharing his story. As a child, he was diagnosed with ADHD. He would get up in the morning, have these cereals for breakfast, couldn't focus at school. He would go to the doctor, and they would talk about him like he wasn't there. These are his words. I'm paraphrasing what his speech was about today. And until he got to college and was doing his own research on health and changed his diet, was he able to go from a person who barely graduated high school to who's struggling in college to being successful and going on to being a physician. So powerful stories that are coming out from these people. And actually, Dr. Casey, her story is amazing too.
Yeah, her story is amazing.
Dr. Casey Means.
Good energy.
Anyway,
She
Good
just wrote
Energy
the book,
is
Good
her
Energy,
book,
yeah.
which I want to do.
With her brother.
Yeah, I want to do a whole conversation on our recent books and include that one because it's phenomenal. But she has a powerful story too about her childhood and her health and the passing of her mom. And so anyway, this just amazing. It's so cool for us because we feel like we've been on this lonely island for so many years, just screaming, wishing some people would listen.
Being made fun of.
Right. Being
Still
made fun of.
I still get made fun of.
It's
just
a
for the record.
constant.
To my face and probably behind my back.
Yeah. About our food choices because people are literally, people just don't know. And that's what it comes down to. We didn't know either. We had a point in time where we didn't know. And we were choosing different things and we felt like shit. And our bodies were not working at optimal level. And we still are dealing with that because that lasts with you. It takes a long time to recover from feeding your body things that are poison, literally poison, and they're on the grocery store shelves. So we say this because it doesn't get enough attention, and for it to be getting the attention that it is today, here in Michigan, and people and celebrities sharing it out, it's like, wow, this is finally people are listening. Finally, you can't deny the data of the health of our children and how bad it is. And just for the record, I don't want to be political, but I think it's ridiculous that people come down on Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and I don't care what your political stance is, and it has nothing to do with this conversation, but the work that he has done and the data that he shows from kids being sick, literally the statistics of where our health the children's health from 3 decades ago to now, it should blow your mind. It literally should blow your mind about how sick our children are. And people just think it's normal. Like that, it's just normal that our kids are this sick.
We've been conditioned and really brainwashed to think that it's okay and normal. Because on the flip side, another rabbit hole, there is a solution. You create a problem, they will create a solution for us. And so that is the vicious cycle. And not to interrupt your thought.
No,
finish your thought,
that was exactly it. It's just the fact that if you actually did the research, and if you actually, because people are so quick to judge these other people because other people are judging them. But if you've been in this world for as long as we have, and you've seen it firsthand, you have such a higher bird's eye perspective, I guess is what I would say.
I was going to say, like, you can do the research, but you could also, if you're in our world and we've been in this for 20 years, we've seen it. We've experienced it. So we've watched it. With
your son, with my nephew.
With so many things. And so here's part of it too, and I think this is important to go along with it, but it's no fault of the American citizens. It's no fault of our own that we have gotten this far along and in having and being guinea pigs for these things. It is for sure at the hands of the people who are regulating this that are okaying it. And so what happened over the years is, so many years ago, we trusted the powers that be, and we trusted those 3-letter and 4-letter government entities that regulate things for us. We trusted that, and we trusted it so much that they slowly integrated food that is not food onto our store shelves. And so we became conditioned through marketing. I mean, marketing is genius. And so if you have the right people. And so what happened is we all became conditioned to think that because it's in our stores and because it's on the shelves, that it's okay. Well, convenience has become really the problem behind all of this, is because we were taught for so many years that this is quick, this is fast, this is convenient. And we really got away from the roots of us growing our food and cooking our food and nurturing our bodies and nourishing our bodies with earth foods. And so, I mean, if you have raised children, or if you have little ones now, like, you get them to taste those ultra processed foods, and there's almost like no going back.
The trigger in the
There's
brain.
no going back. It is the most difficult job to get your kids off of that nasty food. I mean, I would change so much knowing what I know now than what I knew then. But I guess my whole point is that, I have compassion for all of you who are just waking up to this, or who are just learning about this. And I hope you can for yourself too, because it truly is not your fault. And there have just been a lot of great marketing. There's been a lot of great brainwashing,
greediness, financial greediness.
Yeah, and it's like, there's a lot of power and control and money behind this. And if you go down the rabbit hole, the ultra processed food comes from the tobacco companies.
I was just going to say that. You're reading my mind.
They know what to do to get you hooked on their products. Mm-hmm. And so, and this is coming from a former Philip Morris employee. That's a whole other topic.
That's a past life.
Yeah. Well, I learned a lot, I can tell you that. So anyway, point being is that it's the French fries from McDonald's. They are different than the French fries in Europe. And my point is that it's really important that you take this information with the Red Food Diet and and take it a step further and know that there's a lot of products out there: Quaker Oats, McDonald's French fries, and Heinz ketchup. I mean, if you even go on to Vani Hari's or the Food Babes Instagram, she is constantly showing you what products that the United States allows different ingredients in versus their ingredients over in Europe. So let's start this. If you're just starting out on this journey and knowing this, how this all works, just continue down to reading labels. If you don't know what something is, Google it, or look it up. But it's just I don't really like Google, but we use it when we have to. So long story short, don't let this stop you from really knowing what's in our food and really kind of going down that rabbit hole and not making fun of your friends who choose healthy ingredients.
Well, and I think the other thing is too, like, don't wait until you have a health issue to look at your food as a resource for healing. I think that's what happens. People get sick, and unfortunately, these chemicals that we're talking about are cancer causing. So don't wait until that point. Listen to your body now. What is your body telling you that it needs? And experiment with earth foods, and experiment with herbs, and experiment with things that help you to feel better. So what can we do now? Because I think we've been talking about all this like passion that we have. Clearly you can see that. The passion that we have for, so much so that we are, tackled opening a small business in order to provide organic foods to our small community.
In a convenient way, that whole convenient factor.
Right.
Yeah.
So we are doing and trying to do that for our small part of the world. And that's what Vibe Well stands for us. And so I think, what can you do? What can you do now? Literally go to your pantry and start looking at what foods are earth foods in here. What are the ingredients in some of it? What is something that is really, really high on the Frankenfood level? So is it full of stuff that has been is it full of chemicals? Is it full of food dyes? And can you swap that out for something else in your household that's a little bit cleaner? And the great thing about this in 2024 is that you actually have options. When we were going down this avenue, we had hardly any options at all. We were driving an hour to find a grocery store that had clean food. We were shopping online, still do a lot of shopping online. But now there's so many great options. You can walk into your local grocery store and at least get have some organic options, have some cleaner brands on the shelf. And we're really lucky because I feel like the conversation and what's happening today is what is making those changes in the grocery store, because we're voting with our dollar. And so that's the other thing too, is that we choose not, how I felt when my kids would say, that is embarrassing, I'm not taking that. And I'm like, well, I'm not spending my money on that. I'm not giving any money to that company that's propping up and putting out these disgusting products that they know are harming you. Probably not the people making it, they probably have no idea, but there is a level of people at certain levels in that business, in that company, that know that this is harmful ingredients, that they're giving you cheap stuff. So it is important to vote with your dollar. And yes, it's hard. I'm not going to say it's not. Sometimes it is. But is it worth it? 100%. Because you're going to be healthier and you're going to feel better. And so will your kids. So there's just, it's a win-win. But the conversation is very exciting to us that it's getting a lot of traction right now. And like Christine said, we would be remiss not to at least be talking about that and being excited about it, and hoping that it gets more people just to look in their pantry right now today and go through it.
Yeah, and I think that it's like Jen said, there's so many options. This is not about being perfect with it, because when you're entertaining, or you've got to be, didn't plan well for the day. Like, there's so many reasons that you have that 10% of the time that you've got to indulge in something like that. But it does take some planning. You plan out your meals for a few days of the week, and plan out your groceries. I mean, all of that, it does require a little planning. And so, but
that's Murphy.
Yeah, he just wants to be right here with us.
He's snuggling.
So those are some of the things that how we can be successful with our food, is the planning, is ensuring that we're reading labels and reading ingredients. And if it's something that is a non-negotiable, which is, a lot of funky ingredients out there, then you can find something or make it at home. I mean, have fun in the kitchen and have fun looking up recipes on Pinterest and really teaching your kids how to be in the kitchen again and cook and enjoy food and try different seasonings and different flavors and to know that your taste buds have been trained with this high salt, high processed fat, nasty oils. And so there's a reason for that. I mean, it does keep you addicted. It turns off your hunger hormone, so you don't know, you overeat and you don't know when to stop because you're not satiated. But you have to train your taste buds again. And so you can learn to love all of those things again. You just have to give it time. It's not overnight. We have a lot of resources and podcasts and our website, all of our favorites. You can email us anytime or comment below and just ask us. We are happy. We used to do a lot of work with clients on swapping this for that. And, tell us your vices and we'll tell you what to swap it out. And so, it's just one step at a time, and just knowing, again, like being aware and knowing, that's the power in knowing. And once you know better, you do better. So it's baby steps.
And really, your body adjusts so much so that you just can't go back to that. One, it just doesn't taste good, and you're like, oh my gosh. And two, you just not willing to go back to feeling like that or to putting that in your body, because you're like, this is fueling me in such a way and giving me so much great energy. So you will cross over into that feeling of like, oh, I wouldn't even consider that anymore.
Yeah, it's and that's with so many things. And there's still things that like, oh, I'm not there with that yet. But I look back now and I think, a pop, I can't even imagine drinking a pop, because I haven't had one in so many years, and I can't believe we used to drink it the way we drink it. And no judgment, but it's just, that is one of those things, like, can't even imagine consciously sipping on one.
Right.
So,
well, I would just taste. I would think about my.
I think knowing what's in it.
My guts would be like, what is happening?
Yeah.
We've just taken us so long to heal, and still healing in a lot of ways. So, because we're still dealing with it, it's in our environment. Like, we can't get away from it. So it's just making the best choices we can.
And I do love to think, and I see a lot of memes right now about this, but I love to think like what I'm doing right now, I'm setting up for my 70-year-old body. Like, that is how long. I mean, they say 30 years of setting a foundation for your body later on. So think about that too, it's never too late to start because you're setting up your body for 20, 30 years from now. So
Yep.
lots to do. There's a lot to be frustrated about, but there's so much to be empowered by just knowing this. And so that's always our reason for sharing this kind of information is to, one, the knowledge that we think is so powerful, but to empower yourself to make different decisions and to take back the control of your health and know that there's so many options now and so many people out there that are doing this work that will support you too. So reach out if you ever have any questions, and I'm sure this will not be our last time talking about this.
No. All right, wishing you the best. See you next time.